The notion that scientists and mainstream media are deceiving the public about global warming has gained significant traction in recent years. This idea is often perpetuated by those who are skeptical of the scientific consensus on climate change, and it is crucial to examine the underlying motivations and evidence behind this claim. While it is essential to acknowledge that some individuals may have ulterior motives, it is also important to recognize that the vast majority of scientists and journalists are committed to report accurate and unbiased information. One of the primary reasons why some people believe that scientists and mainstream media are lying about global warming is the perceived connection between climate change research and government funding. It is argued that scientists are motivated to produce research that supports the existence of human-caused climate change in order to secure funding for their projects. However, this assumption is not entirely accurate. While it is true that government agencies provide funding for climate change research, the scientific community is driven by a desire to understand and describe the world around us, not by a desire to manipulate the public. In reality, the scientific consensus on climate change is based on overwhelming evidence from multiple lines of research, including temperature records, melting glaciers, and shifts in the distribution of plants and animals. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC), which is composed of thousands of scientists from around the world, has concluded that it is extremely likely that human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases from burning fossil fuels, are the dominant cause of the observed warming since the mid-20th century. This conclusion is based on a thorough review of the available evidence and is supported by numerous scientific organizations, including the National Academy of Sciences, the American Geophysical Union, and the American Meteorological Society. Another reason why some people believe that scientists and mainstream media are lying about global warming is the perceived politicization of the issue. Climate change has become a highly polarized topic, with some individuals and groups attempting to use it to advance their own ideological agendas. However, this does not mean that the science itself is inherently political. While it is true that some politicians and activists may try to manipulate the public's perception of climate change for their own purposes, the scientific community is committed to reporting the facts as they are known, without regard to political ideology. The mainstream media also play a crucial role in shaping the public's perception of climate change. While some media outlets might be guilty of sensationalism or bias, the majority of reputable news organizations strive to provide accurate and balanced reporting on a topic. In recent years, there has been an increase in the number of media outlets that prioritize fact-based reporting on climate change, and many journalists are working to provide more nuanced and accurate coverage of the issue. It is also worth noting that the idea that scientists and mainstream media are lying about global warming is often perpetuated by special interest groups and individuals who have a vested interest in downplaying the significance of climate change. For example, fossil fuel companies and other industries that stand to lose financially from a transition to renewable energy sources have been known to fund campaigns to cast doubt on the science of climate change. These efforts often involve the spread of misinformation and the manipulation of public opinion, and they can have a significant impact on the public's perception of the issue. In conclusion, while there may be some individuals who are motivated to deceive the public about global warming, the vast majority of scientists and journalists are committed to reporting accurate and unbiased information. Scientific consensus on climate change is based on overwhelming evidence, and it is supported by numerous scientific organizations around the world. Rather than relying on unsubstantiated claims and conspiracy theories, it is essential to rely on verifiable evidence and credible sources of information when evaluating the issue of climate change. By doing so, we can work towards a more informed and nuanced understanding of this critical issue, and we can develop effective strategies for mitigating its impacts and adapting to a changing climate.